So it's Thanksgiving night, friends. Best Buy. Look at this parking lot, full all the way around as far as the eye can see. So let's walk in here and see if there's any real deals in here. Maybe, maybe not. So friends, we were about to buy a Fitbit, and then we saw how long that line is over there, and we decided to it's not on sale, so we're not going to wait. We're going to come back and get it another day. If it was on sale and a great deal, maybe, but not on sale, not a great deal, But you can see it's busy. This is Thanksgiving night. A lot of folks in here. There you go. Not sure, but I believe it's this one. You see the cuts in the top? I think that is who I'm looking for. That is him right there. Look at what it says right there, friends. Harmonica Wizard. Deford Bailey, 1899 to 1982. Musician, composer, entertainer, early star of the Grand Ole Opry. Buried right here, friends. Early star of the Grand Ole Opry, the very first MC of the Grand Ole Opry, and he performed on the Grand Ole Opry. He played harmonica, he played guitar, he played banjo, he played mandolin, and he is black. Who knew that the very first MC, the guy that starred in the show and talked on the Grand Ole Opry, was actually a black gentleman? And that is him right there. Deford Bailey, ladies and gentlemen, the Harmonica Wizard. Now you know. And the reason I was struggling so much finding this grave is there's two Greenwood cemeteries. There's an east and a west. I was in the wrong one. This is the one off of Elm Hill. And when you come in the front, there's an entrance and an exit. He's right here. You can see he's kind of in the crook of the road. Right here, there's a Smith there, a Spence. That is an unusual gravestone that says Chandler right there. And this is Deford Bailey right here, friends. From the Grand Ole Opry, the Harmonica Wizard. You heard it here first. Friends, there's a beautiful house coming up on the left right here, and it's got a giant building in the backyard that actually matches the house. And this guy sells helicopters, and that's what that building is for. It is a helicopter showroom. This house right here with the green roof, and you'll see the giant building in the back right there. Got helicopters in that, friends. You see the windsock back there. But that's what that guy does right there. America, ladies and gentlemen. It's your last chance, friends. You know how I can tell? Here's your sign. Friends, right here, we're going to come up on William Lee Golden from the Oak Ridge Boys lives in that house right there. That's the oldest house in Sumner County, and you can see his face on that tree. And a lot of times he has a teepee in the side yard right here. Let's see if we can see it. I don't think it's there. No, it's gone right now, but he'll have a teepee that he stays in the side yard. Friends, on this street right here at this intersection, First and Oldham Street. Now back then it was March the 22nd, 1916, and it was the huge fire of Nashville, Tennessee. Now I don't know which corner it was on, but the house sat at the corner of Oldham and First Street. And the story goes that there was a young boy playing with a ball made out of yarn, and it accidentally jumped in the fire. They had a fire made at their home, like it would be like a stove fire, I would assume, because it was March. It may or may not have been cold. And the story goes that he didn't want it to burn up, so he grabbed it with something and threw it out the door. And the problem was there was 50-mile-an-hour winds that day. So it actually took the ball of yarn, set the grass on fire, which ultimately set his house on fire, burned his house to the ground, and burned 35 blocks of, this is riverfront, the river is right there, and it burned 35 blocks of mostly residential. There was a few commercial buildings and that kind of stuff here, but that happened just a hair over 100 years ago this year, March 22nd, 1916. Look it up if you don't believe me. And the story goes that the house was at the corner of Oldham and First Street. You heard it here from the Spa Guy, friends. Oldham and First, the big fire of 1916, 35 blocks of houses burned to the ground. And I'll include some pictures, friends. So if you look, the highway was not through here during the time of the fire. And if you look right here, they call this Interstate Drive, but this is technically would have been not Interstate Drive. This is Russell Street, and it would go straight through. So we're gonna go over to the other side to the actual Russell Street. And it says that fire, now that fire was a long ways from here, and it burned all the way to over here. And so we're gonna try to find some of the areas where it burned. Stay tuned, friends. All we're doing is crossing over the highway, and now I'm on this side, and you can see they're saying this is 4th. So we're gonna go down to Russell and take a look. Stay tuned, friends. So we're coming up on Russell, and just imagine now, back then the highway was not there, so this road actually went through, all the way through there, and we were just here. So where I was talking about on the Jesse James stuff that I was talking about, it looks like that the fire burned stuff here, like these houses that I told you look newer, this was all burned. So all this stuff burned, and this is a long ways from where we were at over there. So I'm going to fly the Glory up. We're going to take a look and just see how far. But it's saying that the corner of 6th and Russell Street, they posted police here to keep people from looting. And so the church did not burn, that church with the on the right, but evidently this stuff on the left hand side burned as well. So they're saying that they posted the policeman right here at this intersection pretty much. And so let's fly the Glory up and see. And that explains why you've got this church and stuff here on this whole block, because all the houses burned. And that church right there was built in 1891, which is the Tulip Street Methodist Church. So let's fly the Glory up and see how far we are from where the fire started. And that'll give you an idea of how far this fire went. They say it put 3,000 people homeless at the time. So friends, this is a map of where the burned areas were, and if you look at the top left, you'll see it says Oldham and First Street, and that is where I am at when I was taking the video there at that particular intersection. And then you can see there's a railroad track, and in a moment I'm going to show you from the Glory the railroad track, and we're going to fly from Oldham and First over where I-65 or I-24 is now. In the direction of the wind, you'll see where it flew across. And then I'm going to show you a picture from the Tulip Street United Methodist Church Tower, looking back across where it's mostly burnt out. And the reason it jumped was the wind was real high that day. They're estimating 55 to 65 miles per hour. This is the intersection where it started at. There was a house here, and that's where you saw on the top, that intersection right there is the top left of that map. And then I'm going to turn and look out in the distance, and it basically jumped from there. You see the railroad tracks in the right of the screen, now the middle of the screen. It jumped from there over across and went across the road over there. Now I'm going to fly straight to the church, to the Tulip Street United Methodist Church, which is actually not on Tulip Street now. It's actually on Fatherland. But back then, when it was actually on Tulip Street, Tulip turned into 5th Street. So it's moved actually to Fatherland. So now I'm going to look directly up from this intersection and fly straight across, and so you can kind of see where the destruction was. And there's a lot out in this area right here. There's a lot of places where there was houses that there's highway now. Once that went through, I think a lot of people didn't rebuild, and now you can see there's parking lots and stuff in that area. And I'm flying straight across to the church. But when I get to the church, that's about a mile. It actually burned another mile past where we're going to be with the glory right here when we get to this church. So when I fly across the top of the church, you're going to see the Tulip Street United Methodist Church just beyond this church where you see the white steeple coming up. And I'll point it out. It's going to be on the corner just on the other side of that church. And if you look back at the map, you'll see that it burned past that. That's Russell Street. And it'd be Russell and Fatherland. And so when we get to this church, you'll see the giant church, the tower at the other church where they took this picture from. And I'm going to flip this picture up so you can take a look at that. And this is just a reminder of what happened 100 years ago. And I've lived in Nashville for 16, 17 years. I've never heard of the Great Fire of Nashville in 1916. But you could see there is the tower just on the other side of this steeple. There it is, directly in the center of the screen. And this picture that I'm going to put up next was taken from that tower. So look out in the distance and check it out, friends. So I wanted to point out one more thing. As we fly past this steeple right here and you see the tower in the middle of the screen right here, I actually moved my vocals back a little bit so you can see the tower. If you look to your far left, just right about now, you see that white top of that other church tower. They were in this tower shooting towards that tower. So check this out, friends. You'll see when you look right here, you'll see that tower out. You see it right there just to the left of center. That is the tower that you saw with the white top on it. And all that got burned out in that direction. It's pretty crazy. March 22nd, 1916, Nashville. So this is the Woodland Street Catholic Church right here. And I saw this, I don't know if I can get in here or not, but I saw this little thing. See that they've got, it's locked. You can see they've placed flowers here. And I guess that's the Mother Mary, the Virgin Mary. Interesting. There's a pile of rocks they used to build it. Little prayer area, prayer garden. Tighten up.